Welcome to Tech Talks, Evolving Distribution. I'm Corey Hayes, and with me is Bill Rosado. Today, we're exploring how digital transformation is reshaping the distribution industry.
That's right. From e-commerce platforms to CRM tools, we talk with industry experts about how distribution can embrace these changes and thrive in the ever-changing space.
Whether you're just getting started or looking for new insights, we've got you covered. Today's episode is packed with information to help you navigate the digital shift.
So let the tech talk begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tech Talks, Evolving Distribution. Corey Hayes here alongside Bill Rosado, and excited to have our guest on today, Eric Hamlett. Eric, how you doing today?
Wonderful. Never complain on a Friday. How are you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. Gotta love Fridays. And yeah, glad that you were able to join on. Tried to do this once before, couldn't quite get it to work out. So I'm glad that we got it to work out this time. And thank you for being able to join us. Just at the top, usually what we have our guests do is just give a quick introduction to yourself, introduce yourself to the listener. Tell us a little bit about EpaCube, who you work for, and tell us a little bit about your journey into EpaCube and just your distribution journey, if you will, digital transformation journey, maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. Again, happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know me, Eric Hamlett, a born and raised Texan that just moved to the East Coast with my wife, 3 daughters, and pet rabbit to enjoy long walks on the beach. I'm very competitive and love to win, so letting my kids beat me in the games that we play is something I'm still learning to adapt to. I love most sports, especially European football, and while it's very difficult, I do still love my Dallas Cowboys. Over the last 15 years, I've been selling B2B solutions for some very cool companies, ranging from small startups to mid-market level organizations to big private equity firms. For a couple of years, I managed all the international clients for a large wholesale distributor. And shortly after, I helped launch and acquire our first clients for a cost optimization tool for AWS users. So I think that's pretty fitting because EpaCube is a pricing optimization solution for wholesale distributors. So kind of been all over the place, but this feels very centered for me. So I've been part of the EpaCube team now for just shy of a full year, and it's been a great ride and a really good fit for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, welcome to the distribution community.
Yeah.
We AWS, right? It's a big topic also that's being talked about in distribution, right? A lot of people moving into the cloud, and it doesn't have to be AWS. I guess I shouldn't target just one over the others, but we're seeing a lot of that. So kind of give us some challenges that you see in digital transformation.
Sure. I mean, nobody's digital transformation journey is easy, right? Or quick, depending on really what you're looking to accomplish. So I've seen many of them successfully implemented. I've seen a few of them fail. I've got a lot of feedback from customers that are going through them that feel like they're really never ending. I'd like to say, after what I've seen in the evolution of technology slowing down, especially in the last 15 years, I grew up during the birth of the internet, right? The .com era, the cloud, e-commerce, social media, all this to say that as new technology becomes available and widely adapted, so do new challenges, right? But so do new solutions. So to answer the question, easily the most common challenge, I think, is communication. Digital transformation projects are complex. They're huge. They take a long time. They require a lot of resources. So the list of challenges could probably go on forever. But I believe projects like these fail when people stop communicating and start assuming. So starting at the top, every department needs to understand what you're setting out to accomplish. What is their role going to be, and really what deliverables are they responsible for? So every true digital transformation comes with hurdles. The key is how well you communicate issues and course correct. Doing that well will keep your momentum and help you stick to a timeline.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a something that we've talked about a lot in every single one of our projects that I've been a part of. I've mentioned it before on the show, but I didn't actually get started on the sales side and account executive side of things. I got started on the implementation side and the onboarding, and it seemed like on that side of the spectrum, when we were onboarding a client, I mean, communication was it was the biggest key, and the ability where you saw well, communication ability and where you saw customers who communicated well. It was just amazing at how well they adapted, how well they were able to identify what their goals were. And then on the other end of that, it was really easy to see teams that didn't communicate well, really had no direction, really had no way to pinpoint exactly what they were trying to do. And I think it's the same on this side of it, right? You're talking to a prospect. It's amazing when you see somebody come to the table and ready for the conversation and they're well prepared. You can tell that they've had good dialogue on the back end, with their company, with what their needs are. And it goes a long way. So yeah, communication, it's only going to help, over communicate.
Yeah, it can be obvious when there's a lack of communication because they'll see a lack of progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of on the other side of that question, the challenges that you've seen, the other side of it would be what successes have you seen in digital transformation? And if it is, communication, what does that look like? What does it look like for you? And any other successful, things that stick out when you think about digital transformation?
Sure. I think my first thought, right, is that digital transformation, as I alluded to, it's really never complete, right? It is kind of an ongoing process indefinitely to make sure that you're adopting new technology, staying ahead of the curve, and really providing your clients with the most optimal experience that you can with the tools that exist today and that you're not falling behind, right? So it's not just about implementing those new tools, but it's also about how your team manages the process to be successful in that journey. So businesses that win at this start with effective communication, right? That means sharing challenges early, aligning on goals, and really staying in sync throughout the project.
Yeah. I'd ask you this with your experience, being in, almost like enterprise solutions and large scale companies all the way down to, SMBs. How would you what advice would you give to a larger company if it's a larger distributor, a larger company that's looking to make digital transformation where communication can get either miscommunicated, lack of communication, there's just a little bit more hoops to jump through. What advice would you give to those larger scale companies?
Man, I've got a good one for this, I think,
Okay.
because it's kind of the same strategy I would really deploy with any type of major or relatively large impactful change that you might want to drive forward. And that would be baby steps, right? You're never going to step to the plate, swing, hit the grand slam at the first pitch and, walk off win, right? Baby steps, define your goals, set a realistic timeline, make sure everybody's aware of what their contribution is going to be and when the deadlines might be for those. That way you can chip away at the goal and make progress that has real-time impact as you work towards the bigger picture. So baby steps, I think, is the best way to do it strategically.
Yeah.
So this day and age, with a lot of people moving to e-commerce, when we're going through and working with a client, a lot of the challenges sometimes that we come up with is pricing, right? How do we get pricing right? Any tips that you could give as far as how a distributor can get pricing right whenever they're coming to an e-commerce situation?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what EpaCube does. So for distributors, one of the biggest wins comes from transforming pricing, right? And with EpaCube, we can really help distributors shift from reactive manual pricing to a very data-driven approach that actually supports growth. So you'll get visibility, control, and tools that really help you manage margins without the guesswork and the lengthy, spreadsheet madness.
Yeah. So you're right. So margins, why they're very slim, right, with our community. You're saying that the best thing to do is to look at, and you guys can help them optimize to get the best profit that they can out of a sale.
Yeah, absolutely. So transforming your pricing really could mean a lot of things, but ultimately it's rolling out a new strategy to be more effective. And without getting too into the details, EpaCube does just that, using a very data-driven approach to reveal exactly what you should be charging, exactly which customers, based on some very important transactional data that we can extract. So it's a journey, but it's also rolled out in baby steps so that we can attack certain areas of the business without trying to hit that grand slam and make too much disruption.
Yeah. So speaking of disruption, right? So when you guys are kind of getting in that, what is the biggest disruptor whenever someone is trying to take that? Because we know, right, things are changing. The old guard's moving out, the new guard's moving in, but sometimes the old guard's the one making that decision, right? Are they going to make that change or not? How do you help people overcome that disruption, right? That here's the path we want to go, but we've always done it like we always did. So how do we do something different?
Yeah, I love that, because that was high on my list as well as one of the bigger challenges, and that's change resistant, right? You have people that have created strategies or have an approach or a mindset that keeps them operating the same way. And that always points me back to that Einstein quote, I think it is, that says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? If you have an aligned goal to make a change, to create growth, to grow your margin, become more profitable, you can't do the same thing you're doing today or the results would be the same, right? So you have to get that buy-in across the organization. Leadership needs to convey a message to each department, what their role in the change is, why they're doing this, what they should expect. That way everybody's excited to embark on this journey and achieve those same results, right? And win as a team. And it's not, just orders coming down from the top. And I don't want to follow this new direction because I've always been able to manage it XYZ the way I've done it for years. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. I guess let me put you in a little bit of a scenario here just to pick your brain. And
Yeah.
sorry if this is putting you on the spot. But I think a lot of times what we've seen is there are influencers that, are kind of your champion, that find value in what you offer, that find value in that change. But they have a hard time getting buy-in from their superiors, from their executives, from their CEOs, their presidents. Maybe what are some good tools that a champion, that somebody that wants change to happen, what could they go to that old guard with, if you want to say it that way? What's a good approach that they could take to be able to communicate why change is necessary and break through that resistance?
That's a good one, right? If there's a golden ticket response that achieves exactly that, then I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
I think it depends on who you're working with a lot of the times, right? You need to know what's driving that particular person's motivation, whether it's a win in this area, an incentive out there, kind of what's the right carrot that I can dangle for the right person or right team that would make them complete that objective, according to plan. So finding what is going to motivate, drive, or incentivize specific teams to accomplish their role in this whole change is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. This will be the hardest question maybe you've gotten all week. All right. But what is that one tip, that biggest thing that you would give to companies looking to embark on a digital transformation journey? I know we probably have already pulled out quite a bit in this conversation, but what's that one thing that sticks out most to you?
Sure. I'm a big visual learner, right? So I love a good mutual action plan, whether it's internal or external. My tip is to create a shared space of some kind where you can visually communicate this digital transformation journey. When everyone has access to see the roadmap, the key milestones, the owners, the deadlines at a glance, that really helps build alignment, accountability, and momentum. So whether it's a dashboard or some type of simple project timeline, a shared whiteboard space, visual tools help me to stay focused. So I think creating a visual tool to help aid the journey is huge.
Yeah.
Great. That's a great tip.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that stuck out a lot and through this conversation that, I guess I'll circle back to is your, ability to talk about communication and how important it is. And I know we talked about, communication at a larger company as opposed to maybe a smaller company. Do you think that because everybody wants to grow their business, and I know you've talked about baby steps. Is there any practical things that you would say, establish this now, establish these communication pieces now to help you for growth? Is there anything that comes to mind in that respect?
Man, that's a good one as well.
Yeah.
I think it depends, right? As you kind of alluded to in terms of size of the organization.
Yeah.
If it's a real small company, they may have the advantage of meeting in person in a conference room every week. If it's a real large organization, they may not be able to do that, but they might have a person, that's dedicated to each individual task or responsibility. At a smaller organization, higher likelihood those people are wearing multiple hats and might play
Right.
multiple parts in this journey as well. So
Right.
that's tough. I'd say whatever works for you and your team to communicate and collaborate effectively, stick to that. If you can add a visual component, I think that would only benefit you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there
One-on-one.
anything that we haven't asked, Eric, that we should be asking you as far as especially helping somebody take pricing to the next level in a digital transformation?
The only thing that I don't think we've mentioned is if you're considering some level of a digital transformation, I'm big on references, right? If you're about to implement a new e-commerce solution, a pricing optimization tool, or an ERP or anything into your tech stack, talk to those in the industry that you trust. What do they use? What roadblocks did they face? My dad always taught me at a young age was to learn lessons from other people's mistakes, right? So align with your industry peers and use that to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all the tidbits. And there were a lot of golden nuggets that you dropped, throughout there. And hopefully our listeners have caught on to them. This is probably one of those episodes you need to go back and you need to rewatch a couple times. Just make sure that you picked up on everything. So thank you, Eric, for jumping on today and sharing your wisdom. Thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to Tech Talks Evolving Distribution, and we will see you next time. Eric, thank you so much. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Tech Talks Evolving Distribution. Thanks for tuning in.
And we hope you've gained some valuable insights on how to embrace digital transformation and stay ahead in the distribution industry.
A special thanks to our sponsor, Aldrich Web Solutions, for supporting this podcast. With over 20 years of experience, they've been helping distributors win online and maximize their digital presence. Be sure to check them out if you're ready to take your business to the next level.
And if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. And of course, share this with anyone who could benefit from this conversation.
We'll be back next time with more expert insights. And until then, keep evolving and embracing change.